The
Well,
giggle should tell
well,
you that we are back live in person, my friend.
I think we're recording.
We
I
are.
think we are
We
recording for
might be.
live from the CGA day one.
Can I tell you just something
Please.
before we get
Oh,
started?
just do
There's
it.
so many times that we get here and everything goes totally smooth.
Oh
All
yeah,
right, like 100%. It happens a lot,
yeah.
actually, but sometimes it doesn't. And it's just funny to when we finally get it done, like we kind of you get hysterical for a minute, okay? Because you don't know what's going to happen. Because the internet's a funny place, and sometimes you just wake up and an update happens, and then you have to reorganize your life. And that's where we're at today, Jimmy. Live from the CGA, my friend, in Orlando, Florida, your home state.
My home state.
I
This is
mean,
where I
current
live.
home state. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I got
I don't
West
know the I don't
West
know the
Palm Beach,
rules on that.
Florida.
You
Let's go West Palm.
I always wonder, is it where you were born or is it where you
Well,
reside? And
it's
I
too,
think that's quite
I
controversial.
think it's two-sided because some people ask me what my home state is. I'm like, where I currently live, my home state, or
Mm,
where I was born, Chicago.
yeah.
So I guess
I
Chicago is
think
a
about my
city, but I
mental
think of it as a
state.
state. I think about
Deranged.
mine. So
I'm just
yeah,
kidding. We
no,
are live at the CGA. We're blessed to be a part of this
absolutely.
show. And the CGA and us kind of worked together to bring the show here. And honestly, CGA just wanted us to bring the show back to folks that couldn't be a part. And
Yeah,
so we're really excited about that.
absolutely. And actually, right now we are set up in the exhibit hall, which has between I thought 50,000. Somebody else said 100,000
People?
square feet.
Oh, okay.
Fifty
That's,
thousand
that's a little
square
bit
feet.
different, my
I'm sorry.
friends.
I'm sorry. I
No, no, no. I'm
apologize for
kidding.
that.
I'm kidding.
But we're in the CGA booth right now, so we did
Yeah.
turn ourselves around so we can see all. Everybody's still setting up right now, so we're in the
Yeah,
calm
we're
before the
behind
storm.
the scenes, my
Yeah,
friends. And if you were to look that way just a little bit, if we would take the camera and turn it
I just looked at what you
20
had me.
foot, 20 foot away from the entrance, we believe, allegedly,
Yes,
is the entrance.
that's the
Um,
entrance right there. That's where the main. Well, there's another entrance right over here, but these are the main ones
it's a
going over the
win-win, my
sessions
friend.
because
Yeah.
we have sessions going on here. The knowledge sharing that goes on at the CGA, I believe there's probably at least 20 separate session rooms going
Mhm.
on over this way. It's incredible the amount of knowledge sharing that's going on here and the things that you can learn. If you have an interest in anything in damage prevention,
Yeah.
you can find it here.
Big stage, not to mention outside the
Oh,
big demo discussed that'll go on later tonight.
and
And then,
tomorrow morning, and
and yeah,
tomorrow morning.
correct.
Yep,
And we have large equipment out there. We've got
huge rigs,
vac trucks. We've got
HDD equipment.
absolutely all kinds of like top tech
Yeah,
and damage prevention out there, and we're going to sit amongst it. Looks like a great kind of kickoff to this whole thing. Get out there. We're going to be running around with the gimbal, catching
yeah.
some different video. Hopefully, bringing some of those little micro interviews back from different folks, and hopefully they'll let us play with some of those toys. Yeah,
Well,
I mean
maybe
they're
you, not
pretty.
me.
Yeah,
I've already been
you've been
told
banned.
I have a restraining order against some of them because
That's
I
fair.
tried to take one of the units out for a drive and they said no, no. So
Joyriding is frowned upon in Orlando, apparently.
allegedly,
Allegedly. Jimmy, we're here all week, 4 days of it,
4
man.
full days.
And one of the last you talk about the awesome training that this event
Yeah.
provides, whether it's confident worker or any of the sessions you can catch,
Yep.
and then obviously great networking,
Yes.
2-3 nights of it that are going to be epic. We're going to be live here from the exhibit hall. Pretty much any chance that we get to bring it back, to bring some of this vibe back to everybody as well.
I'm going to say we're going to be in it for 3 days. And then we're also going to be out and about here for 3 days, if not 4 days. If we go, we might be going to Johnson
That's what I was
Space
going to say. The
Center.
fourth day.
Go ahead.
Go, no, please.
Well, fourth day, there's 2 field trips. We call them. One is the Johnson Space Center, and I'm captivated by that because they're using satellite technology
Yeah,
to help in the damage prevention world, and I need to learn. We need to learn about that.
very cool.
Or they're also having one to the Duke Solar Farm, which also sounds fascinating to me. I want to learn more about this, the whole solar thing, and just so I'm aware of it and what's going on there. So a couple good opportunities for
Very
us.
cool. So I'm still on the fence whether I'm going to fly out Thursday or Friday, but allegedly I'm looking at another flight
Oh,
so that I can catch Thursday. But if that works out, then I'll definitely be here. But we'll kind of work that out as we go. Either way, we're going to be bringing back some
yeah.
kind of content on that last day. So much good stuff. Thankful for the CGA Common
Yes.
Ground Alliance for allowing us to be
Kudos.
a part
Thank you.
of this great show, and also just letting us hang out at their booth. I mean, how cool is that?
This is epic.
Don't tell them, but we're pretty starstruck ourselves.
Yeah, we are. This is a big
It's a
deal.
big stage,
Yeah,
man.
it's a huge
And so
stage.
we're excited to bring this back to everybody who couldn't be here.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Thank you, CGA, for trusting us.
Absolutely, man. It's
All
good to
right.
be with you. It seemed like just the other day
I
we were
know.
doing this at SGA.
I think it was just the other
Couple
day.
of weeks, or whenever this airs, a week from now, we'll be doing it again at AGA. This is a big show, though.
Yes. Are you ready?
I think so.
Oh,
I
and
mean, I think I'm in conference shape again.
well, and they all from the gimbal tonight. They might see us in our Florida attire. A new look for the
Let's
coffee.
see if I can do a leg kick.
Oh no.
Get
Easy.
my shorts.
You might throw out a sciatic nerve on this.
I'm kidding. Settle down. Now we're going to be out and about. We'll see what's up.
Yeah.
Jimmy, man, we'll be here all week.
Sounds good. See you.
We'll be back.
James,
Jimmy.
as always, I'm nervous as all get out.
Why are you nervous?
I don't know. It's day 2. It's ground zero. We are at the epicenter of the
Common
kickoff.
Ground Alliance. Kicked off yesterday. What?
Kicked off
No, go
yesterday.
ahead.
Ground zero. You see my little?
should've been there. He's been working on that all week.
I have
certain of it.
I have been.
We are live day 2 at CGA, and for those that don't know, what we're running through Thursday, all day, full day Thursday
Till 10 p.m.
Yeah. So day 2 of several days.
And we started off this day, one of my favorite ways to do it. We were outside, dig demo, discuss what's going on. We got to view a lot of outdoor operations that you can't just house inside the exhibit hall. So they've really done a great job with really yesterday and today of doing a lot of the outside stuff, not competing with the exhibit hall. But it was a great way to, I mean, there's,
full-blown exhibit hall outside.
Oh, it is.
Really and truly,
Tents.
with bigger toys and cooler things to play with.
Well, we did some good stuff out there, so we'll all see that.
I'm sure everybody sees that when we throw it out. And you see a lot of that this week.
Yeah.
Already today, as you can see, we're finishing up setup on this exhibit hall, but Jimmy and I have had access because we're here with the CGA. And so we've been kind of walking around talking with folks, and this is a big show.
Oh,
Look
it's huge.
behind us. You can see
Yeah.
all the big signage, the double height booths. That tells you one thing. This is a big floor here. So some of these structures back here are a good 20-foot high.
Yeah.
Not including the spinning tops on it, right? So look behind us. Look at
Yeah.
all the awesome folks, sponsors, exhibitors, thought leaders in damage prevention, solid and thick as thieves in here.
Oh, 100%. And again, the name Alliance, when you think about the people that are collaborating here and the knowledge sharing that's going on, the organic as well as the sessions. So those organic conversations are happening all the time in the hallway, outside this morning. And I'm sure they'll be continuing here. The sessions are going on today, committee meetings and such like that. I am definitely going to hit up a couple sessions today because I know we're going to have a little bit of time that we can do that. And again, just a few things that we could take away from there will be really
instrumental. Tomorrow will be a little tougher for us because the hall will be open all day. So we want to be front and center here, grabbing as many folks as we can to come on. But maybe we can set in. I know there's stakeholders meetings this morning.
Yep.
Committee meetings. I think Steve Allen.
He's already in one. He's already in one. Yep.
We've been trying to get everything ready, and also we were talking about it, having early access and getting to talk with some of the awesome folks and see the tech and some of the brand new equipment and innovations in our space. In our damage prevention world, it's neat to get kind of that behind the scenes pass, if you will.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you,
kudos to
CGA.
the CGA for allowing that. And again, just the organic conversations we had this morning, people are excited. They're like telling us all about it. And we're like, well, this
very
is
thankful.
great.
Yeah, thankful for us to be around.
Yeah.
We went out in the parking lot and did some things, like you said earlier, with some of the vendors out there. And it's just another way for them to be able to spread the gospel of what they're doing.
Yeah.
In the bigger movement, which is what this show's really about this year, which is 50 and 5, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And
so reduce incidents by 50% in 5 years. And we already started asking folks, hey, what is your company doing to achieve 50% reduction in incidents in 5 years?
So we think that's going to be our question.
Yeah, I
this
think it is
conference.
going to be our.
How are you moving
Yep.
that needle, right? And so that's exciting.
Yeah.
This is a great group to ask that question to. It's a big, hairy, audacious goal, right? To move that needle. But I think Steve said it yesterday when we were talking about it. You got to plant, or Sarah Magruder this morning.
Yeah.
Sarah Magruder Lyle kicking it off. So we had to put a stake in the ground, right? Put a flag and shoot for something, right? And it is big, hairy, audacious goal. but we had to start somewhere.
And what do we always say, James?
You got to start.
Just got to get started.
Doesn't matter. Crawl, walk, do whatever you got to do. Just keep moving, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So the glory of getting started too is then everybody tells you how to be better, right? That's how it always works. So you can wait around and waiting for them all to tell you, or you can just get started, and then hey, they'll tell you too. So why
and
not
they'll
get
help
started?
you.
What a great cause!
Yeah,
as we
absolutely.
learn more and more being here, and the great folks, so many folks we already know. You've been here several times, but for me, just seeing again our commitment as the natural gas industry to this space. You know, we have a large investment here, as we should.
And we absolutely do. And you know what? I'm just going to jump in because it's fun to see the natural gas industry here working with fiber optic industry, working with telecom, working with, you know, water. I mean, everybody's going to get anything that's underground. People are saying, how can we do this better? What is our joint trenching going to look like? You know, how do we make it more efficient, safer, you know, more productive? Yeah. I mean, that's fun to see.
It is neat. Lots of thought leaders here. We've seen so many great people already, and we're really about a half day in for most people. Some people didn't show up till late last night.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to bring on some friends of ours that we know are here that have been on the show before, but also bring some new folks to our audience as well.
Yeah.
We can't wait. Hopefully some of the CGA people can come on.
Oh, they will. Yeah, I think
I'm going to send Steve out, just grabbing people, bringing them in.
Oh, he does that well.
He's such a good, and he's not speaking this time, which is rare. I thought he was. I thought he just spoke every time.
Well, you know what, though? Should there need arise, I think Steve Allen would be ready in a heartbeat.
He'll be on a panel by the end of tomorrow. So
Yeah.
He always ends up on it. No, it's great to be able, but that says something, right? We all know how busy Steve Allen is. He's everywhere, every week. He was rattling off his schedule last night.
It's intense.
But to see him come here without a need to speak, without a booth here from Energy World, isn't that right? He came here because of his commitment to damage prevention and his long history in this space. And he knows, Steve knows how valuable this place is.
He knows how valuable it is. He knows how valuable it is, the information that he has that he wants to continue to share with people. He wants to then bring that, two-sided. He loves that open communication. I was in one conversation with Steve last night where I said, Steve, if we could continue to bottle up what's in your head and give it to people. He's like, I'm trying, Jimmy. I'm trying.
Steve in a bottle. That's what we need.
Yeah.
We had Demo Dig discussion yesterday. Turn around the corner and it's Jim Shower talking to Steve Allen, talking to Kevin Miller, everybody was there.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah, we mentioned Mary Palkovich was out there. I know Mary since 2002 at CenterPoint Energy.
Evan Wyman this morning walking by.
Evan
good to see him. Our friend Cortera. Jim Plazinski over there. So many great friends. Love this place.
Uto is feverishly getting together a huge area that they're going to be using some cutting edge technology for line locating. I can't wait to get over there and get our hands on some of that equipment.
Some of our friends over at Northfield.
Pelicans right here.
Always love seeing
April Mitchell's
folks out in the world. Shout out April.
Yep.
New Connect there. Stake Center clients all behind us. Line Quest is back there. Huge place. We're gonna be here.
We are
tonight, tomorrow,
and the next day.
Hey, we'll be here all week. We got a big announcement coming. Just wait.
Ooh, what could that be?
All right.
Stay tuned.
Hey, we'll be back.
Well, James, I am going to bring us in because this is my epicenter of knowledge sharing.
I feel like this is what your brain looks like a little bit.
It does. It's like 87 tabs are going, 3 are frozen. I can't figure out where the music is coming from.
Did anyone see that one coming?
No, but this is exciting. We just had the grand opening of the exhibit hall.
Man. It was my kind of intro.
Oh my gosh.
I think we had Jay-Z playing, and there was Smoke Machine, lights, camera, action.
There was great.
Tons of things going on. Super cool.
It was absolutely fun.
Rust-Oleum, I think, sponsored. Obviously, right?
Yes.
You want to tell them what was out there?
Go ahead.
No, please.
With the surfboard?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we're out there, and again, we're in Florida, Orlando, near the beaches, an hour away, and they had the surfboard up there. I'm like, that's cool. And James is looking at it, being the, brand guru that he is like, paint by numbers. So I'm like, huh? What are you talking about? And I go up, and this surfboard is a custom designer by, I can't remember the artist's name, but we're going to go ahead. I think they're going to color it in.
It's like paint by numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's
With
going to be great.
Rust-Oleum markers, right? Sponsored by Rust-Oleum. And then I think they'll glaze the surfboard. Now, are they going to donate it or give it away? Or CGA thing? They should, like, auction it off.
Auction it or raffle it.
I bet Christine has a great idea already.
We're going to have to find out on that. I
We'll
want to know.
have to get the scoop.
Could you picture me surfing?
I am now. So we're live at CGA.
Yeah.
This is like moment one of the exhibit hall, and this thing is packed. You look behind us, you see some of the big booths.
Yeah.
Big spindles up there, Earth Solutions. You got Urban back there.
Northfield DP. We got Pelican right behind us.
I'm sure we'll have some of them on throughout the week.
Cortera's over here. Our friends at Line Quest. I mean, they're all around. 3M was rolling in pallet after pallet today. It was coming.
This place was struggling about, I don't know, 1 o'clock. There were some booths that did not look like this. So it's always neat to see a show come together.
It's amazing the amount that can happen within, let's just say, 18 hours. And some of these booths had crews. I mean, a lot of crews at them. And
a lot of people don't even realize there's not carpet in here, you know, in a lot of places. They're rolling it out. Every booth is getting put in. I mean, a lot of people don't know what goes into a show.
Yeah.
If you've never been on the exhibitor side, right?
Yeah.
We've seen it.
And you know, and just to bring back a conference, an exhibit hall to the audience, so many people have been to them. From my perspective, this is the opportunity when, and even today we were hearing this, where people are saying, can't wait to unveil this or to show this, new technology, new breakthroughs, new safety techniques, whatever it is. That's the things that I love about these shows and the knowledge sharing that happens. So if you really go to the show and actually talk to the folks and understand what they're doing, it may directly impact your company, or it might be one, you know, once removed where you could help somebody else do that. And I think these are great opportunities. We're here this evening, and then we are back all day tomorrow, James. It's going to be full days. Now, yesterday and this morning, we were outside. There was a torrential rainstorm. It all cleared. We were outside in good, decent weather, but I'm glad we're inside now because we're in Florida, and it's getting warm.
It is. Lots of good stuff. Spent some time with Steve Allen earlier. He was in a lot of sessions. I, for one, didn't get to make it to sessions today. We were kind of getting our space ready, getting our head ready, and making sure we had everything we needed today. A little bit of logistical work because we knew today was going to kick off hard and tomorrow was going to be full day. Thursday again, like we said.
Yep.
So anxious to see everybody. It's good to see this hall full. And
it's very strange from just literally 90 minutes ago. 90 minutes.
I like how they kicked everybody out.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch when you do a grand opening to the hall because nobody has really seen this but the vendors. And so it is quite the unveiling, as you can see behind us. If we move a little bit, so many awesome folks everywhere. You probably couldn't hear a word of that I just said as I turned back, but a lot of awesome folks all over.
And sometimes the camera can do a little bit different, but there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4 rows deep, and there's probably a dozen or more so rows that way. And these aren't small booths. We're talking 20 by 20s, 20 by 50s. We're talking big booths here. We're not talking just a normal, 8-foot booth. We're talking big stuff. So it's exciting. Along with all the trucks and the equipment outside, again, if you embrace this and really get into it, you'll learn a lot at a show like this. You really can.
I want to bring up something that you told me when you came in from outside.
Okay.
And that was that there's another conference going on right now, healthcare, I think.
Healthcare, yeah.
And I walked up and you were telling one of your jokes that, that I've heard 900 times.
Yeah.
To someone else from that other conference and tell the audience just real quick that story, because I think sometimes you don't think you can make a difference, right?
Right.
And even here, amongst all of us, you found an opportunity.
A lady was outside and she was just asking, she was like, what's this conference? You seem to be having a lot of fun. There's music and blah, blah, blah. I said, we're part of the Common Ground Alliance. And I said, this is a group of entities all throughout the United States and beyond that want to dig safely. And, I said, there are so many, incidents where people don't dig safely. And she was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. She's like,
what do you mean by digging?
Yeah. So I said, do you have a home? And she was like, I have a home in Rhode Island. Our family lives there. I said, do you ever dig in the yard? And she says, well, we do. And I said, listen, do me a favor. Next time you dig in the yard, call 811 before you dig. And she's like, well, how much does it cost? I said, it's free. And she's like, wait a minute, what? It's free? I said, yeah, call 811. Tell them that you're going to plant a tree in the deck. I said, in the backyard, if you're going to go farther than that far into the ground, call 811, please.
You didn't bust out your little packet and your tolerance zones and stuff.
I almost did.
You know, that's
I
the
almost
next
did.
step, right?
But I did.
You'll be a damage prevention champion. We talk about natural gas champions all the time. We need more damage prevention champions.
We did. Well, let me just to wind up. She's like, I said, they'll come out. They'll mark the yard with what the utilities are, so you can see where they are. And she goes, my sons will just be enamored with that to look at. I said, great. Teach the sons about digging safe. You know, call 811. Program it in your phone. I showed her. I said, I have it programmed as one of my favorites. So
I have a similar story, kind of in my own life. I think you probably remember it, but
fence.
A couple of years ago, I was having a fence put in by a local contractor, and they called, and I said, hey, did you do a locate ticket? And they was like, oh no, you didn't do one? And I was like, nah, man, but I will.
Yeah.
I have no problem doing it. But I just was checking with you, and he was like, no, go ahead, but I won't be able to start Friday if I don't, you know that, right? And I was like, here's the funny part, is that Friday I was speaking at a damage prevention conference, virtually albeit, and I was like, man, no, sir, I'm good if you start on Saturday or next week. So it was one of those moments where we've all had them, right? It's like, well, no one's really looking, right? Nah, man, everybody's always looking.
Yeah.
Just make the call.
Make the call. Be safe.
Have them come out, do it. 72 hours, you're going to be in good shape in most places. So come on.
Yeah, do it. Be safe. 811.
All right, Jimmy, we are going to see if we can get some guests on here. Surely somebody wants to talk to us. We don't have to talk to ourselves.
I have no worries about that.
I'm not going to bother any of these vendors, that's for sure, because they are busy. Look at this. This is what you're missing out on, vendors. This is why you need to be at the CGA, Common Ground Alliance, the biggest place for damage prevention, my friend.
This is
the biggest stage.
This is the big stage.
All right. Hey, we'll be right back.
See you in a bit.
Jimmy, we've got one of our good friends, Cole, back on the show. You were on at LGA?
LGA
in New Orleans.
Last year.
Had a blast with you also. I had to do it
I
again.
say that like I don't know, but we do have a lot of people on at these things during receptions, and it's hard to keep up. Not the faces, but it's like, where did we have you on?
That's
and
right.
For most people, they have one. We have like 350 we have to remember, right? So it's good to see your face. Welcome to
I'm
CGA.
happy to be here again. Thanks for the opportunity.
Do me a favor real quick. Do one of these for the camera.
Hi, Cole Vanderlick with Louisiana 811.
Well, Louisiana 811.
It's a pleasure. I'm a damage prevention manager and just trying to learn some things here at the CGA conference from people like y'all and have a good time while we're at it, huh?
Well, we're doing the same, so I don't know what that says. Right?
Well, you know what it says, honestly? It's talking about, and I always say this, they say network, and I say, no, it's not networking, it's knowledge sharing. And we're here with the time to talk to friends, meet new friends, ask them what they do, and ask them, what their world is like, and see what knowledge we can share, impart to them, and then also take in, and then share that. Keep it going.
I love it.
Oh,
so it's all about
calm down,
brother.
Jimmy, calm down. So we're at CGA, Cole, and one of the big things that they're talking about here is 50 and 5, right? You familiar with that?
So this is my first CGA conference to attend, and it's somewhat of a new term that I'm learning while I'm here.
Better hurry up.
It's awesome, right? It's something I'm supportive 100%, fully behind.
Big, hairy, audacious goal, right?
You're absolutely right. I know it, but you're right. But when you kind of look at the root cause of damage and things like that, if you look at every reason, it's like, wow, if all stakeholders just do their best to do their part, then that number could be attainable just by, excavators, their part, the call center, their part, the utility owner operators and the locators, right? So it's a huge number, you're right. But when you kind of look deep, it's okay, hey, we just do the best that we can every day, we might can get there.
He's such a positive guy. He is. Cole's always so positive.
Everything is impossible until it's possible, right?
Well, I tell
That's
you.
what I feel
That's
like
right.
Cole
We
says.
just got to work together,
in the morning
brother?
when he looks in the mirror, he says, everything is impossible till it's
So it's
possible.
Or like the Kevin Garnett back in the day. Anything is possible.
Yes.
Hey,
Love it.
Minnesota Twins.
What?
Oh no, wait, Minnesota
T-Wolves, but
T-Wolves.
hey,
I was
forgot
close.
you were a
You got the
Minnesota
city
guy.
right. It's all good.
God, I was so close to swing and a miss, and it's basketball, fourth inning. Oh, wait, quarter. Never mind.
Cole, I'm sure we'll see you down the road.
Hey,
LGA.
I'm
my
happy to
man.
be here.
We're
Thanks
gonna
for
be
the
back
time.
at LGA.
Y'all better be.
Live.
We're there.
All right, y'all better be. We'll have a good time. We'll learn a thing or two there too,
Yeah.
huh? And hey, appreciate the time. And just anything
Shout
from
out
Louisiana,
Louisiana.
please holler at us, and we'll do our best to help. Right?
And dial 811 before you dig.
Absolutely. Every dig, every time. I'm loving this this new tagline. Look, I've got a.
Oh, look at
Let me
this.
show y'all this.
Hold on, we got a prop.
wait.
Oh,
Oh,
are we
not
live?
that
No, I'm
one.
joking.
We are
But I will. These
Oh.
stickers. I gotta give y'all one while I'm getting up. I'm sorry.
All
I'll
right.
show
Well,
the
we'll be
crowd.
back.
We'll be back. We're going nonstop. I passing by, I saw Sean in the aisle, and he was asking what's going on. I said to him what we're doing, Coffee Jimmy James. He's like, I'm ready.
Yeah,
Oh,
so the
Planet
audio
Underground.
equipment, I love, the production is what we do. So I see all that stuff, I get excited.
So
Yeah,
tell
just
the
love
audience
language.
your what your name is and your company and what you guys specialize in.
Sure. So my name is Sean Cloghessy, and I work for Planet Underground. And the best way I like to describe what Planet Underground is we are a media production company specifically for the underground utility construction industry. So incredibly niche, I know, but we're the only ones who are kind of really doing it. I mean, obviously you guys are doing more too, so that's always great to see.
That's
But,
awesome.
That's good.
Yeah, we put on, it's any contract work, people want training videos done, we'll do some videos ourselves, and, we'll put on our own events. And the big thing that we're trying to do right now is really starting to get the word out about our training.
Okay.
We spent the better half of like 2 years working on all of this video stuff,
Oh, nice.
all this curriculum to start making an online training course and actually try and set a standard now, an actual standard for locators
Awesome.
Okay.
for all their
Okay.
training.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
We talked about here, Sarah did, CEO of CGA, about 50 and 5. In 5 years, reducing damage incidents by 50%. Your thoughts on that? What can people do?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's absolutely a possible thing to do. I think the one way to make it work is you got to commit to it.
Okay.
Whatever you think it is, if you think it's education or enforcement, whatever commit to it and do it 100%. Don't kind of just dip your toe in, see like, oh, it might be working. I think it's just you really need to give it all 100% of whatever you're doing to actually start working and getting those damages down.
Absolutely.
You are-
Intentional, deliberate behavior.
He's
right?
a pro. A pro.
Sean, I appreciate the work
Yeah,
you do
no.
over at Planet Underground. I'm familiar for the work that y'all do. Appreciate it,
Thank you.
especially in this space. Man,
Mhm.
thanks for coming on the show.
Oh,
Thank you.
great. Thank you guys.
Appreciate you.
Hey,
We'll be back. James, I have to tell you, I barely got out of my stool. Barely. And all of a sudden I see this logo and I'm like,
Fast friends, man.
I know that logo. Please introduce you.
That's why I wear it.
It-
That's exactly why I
it
wear
That's
it.
what
works.
they tell us, right?
So we haven't really met yet, but I said, come on the podcast. We want to hear about you. So please introduce yourself and say a little bit your company and what you do.
My name is Zach Harris. I'm the damage prevention coordinator for Southern Company Pipelines, based out of Birmingham, Alabama. I'm over everything right away for about 100 miles of pipeline from Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, and Tennessee.
Okay, I have an old friend. I don't even know if you know him. His name is Jim Denham.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know Jim by chance?
I hate to say I do.
Oh.
He is my supervisor.
Jim Denham is?
Jim Denham is my supervisor.
We could
6
not have.
degrees of separation.
We could not have planned this.
6 degrees. of
Anathea,
jump
you know
shower.
Anathea?
She is actually my coworker. She is our public awareness coordinator. She
Like
is
Jim
here.
knows.
She's
Jim
not in the
knows.
building, but she is here at this
She
conference.
is.
She's on the
Oh.
podcast next. We're gonna
Nice.
find her.
We're gonna track
She
her
is
down.
she's having more fun.
This is really this is fantastic. To be part of Jim's team. I have so much respect for Jim. I've known him throughout years. When he was before he was gray. No offense, Jim.
Oh,
So
Come
that's
on,
been
bro.
a while.
shots fired.
See, I'm bald. I can't say too much.
Shout
I can't
out.
say too much.
This is great. I
Zach,
love it.
we're asking everybody while we're here too. Is this your first CGA? Just to
It
start
is.
with?
It is. This is the first time I've ever been here.
What do you think? What do you think?
I
so
like
far?
it so far. This room is massive. This room is massive. I've been in this industry for about 3 years. I was with the overhead transmission with Alabama Power for 8 prior to this, and I've never been to a bigger hall than this, filled with all these vendors. It's amazing.
You're going to learn so. I mean, not that you don't know it a lot now, but I'm just saying you'll pick up so many things just by being here.
Shout out CGA.
Yes,
Really putting on a
this
show.
is a great
DJ out there. Did you check out any of the stuff outside yesterday or this morning?
I did. I actually got in yesterday. It was a long drive from Birmingham, Alabama, but I got in yesterday. Was able to watch a little bit of that, get some rest tonight or last night, and then enjoy this today.
Good deal.
Big
Good
day
deal.
tomorrow, big day. You
love
want to do the honors?
Yeah,
my
you know,
friend?
we're at at the CGA. There's a common goal to reduce digging incidents by 50% damages by 50% over in the next 5 years. So 50 in 5 is what they're saying. Reduced by 50% in 5 years. What are you and your organization going to do to help see that happens?
One of Jim's biggest things when he brought me on was 0% late tickets.
Okay.
0 late tickets with 811. So that is my main responsibility as a damage prevention coordinator. I review dig tickets daily, multiple times a day, trying to reach out. I've got every single one of our contract locators' numbers in my phone. I stay in contact with them, make sure they locate on time. If they can't locate on time, in our procedures, Jim and Taylor Ray, before he moved on,
Taylor,
they came up with a procedure that basically lend a helping hand. If our locators can't locate on time, we do what we can to either talk with the excavator to get an extension granted to where they can locate, or we go out and locate for them. So Jim was very adamant. We're trying to reach that 0 late ticket goal.
0 late. I love that. 50 and 5, 0 late.
It sounds great. It's a feat.
Oh, I bet it is. I bet it is.
But we're slowly moving to that goal. But it is. We look at these tickets multiple times a day.
Wonderful.
Multiple times a day.
Zach.
Appreciate you,
Yes,
brother.
thank you for your time. Thank y'all so much.
What
It was good to meet you.
a little bit of a nuance. That's great. We'll be back.
We're back again, Jim.
We are.
I think it's going to slow down. And it's just picking up pace.
It nonstop. Thank you for coming.
Alan Gray.
Alan, great to see
Yeah,
you.
you don't have a name tag. I'd tell you normally. But that's, look at this. Oh, here we go.
It doesn't match
Just real
what
quick.
I'm wearing.
He kind of looks like he's been on the links
If
today.
you'll show that to the screen, that way post-production doesn't kill me. Excellent, sir.
Yeah.
Alan, tell everybody a little bit about what you do in our industry.
I am the Utility Infrastructure Division Director with AGC of America. That's Associated Contractors of America. We represent about 25,000 contractor companies and associated industries in the United States of America.
Do you know Steve Allen by chance?
Steve Allen.
Do you know Steve Allen from Indiana?
No,
former
I do not.
regulator?
No, I
All
do
right.
know Steve Allen was the host of The Tonight Show before Johnny Carson.
Well, while we're on the subject, let's address the elephant in the room, and that is, Alan, you're way better at this than we are.
Yeah, that voice.
Can you do your radio bit for everybody?
Please.
I mean, it's so good.
Well, it was when I was younger at a radio station in Greenwood, South Carolina. It was WGSW 1350, Greenwood's Country Connection.
I just got
That makes me happy, man. I love it.
I'm sure.
Well, we're at the
Wasn't an
CG.
intended purpose, but thank you.
That could be, never mind. We'll just leave it at that. Go ahead, James.
No, please, go ahead.
At CGA, how long have you been attending the CGA? And what do you think some of the great benefits that you're taking away or giving to others by being at the CGA?
Well, the CGA, I was a part of the Common Ground study in 1998, representing the construction industry when we first started all this. We came up with the best practices project, which was Congress ordered the Department of Transportation to conduct a study of best practices. And we did that in 98, presented the results of that in 99, and then we got together and formed the Common Ground Alliance. So I was there at the beginning and was a member of the charter board of directors. And what we
Did
had
you know
was,
this?
Sitting
Keep
amongst
going.
Yeah.
royalty,
Yeah, royalty is right.
industry royalty.
yeah, so what we did was before in 1998 there was a Transportation Equity Act which funded projects and everything, but within it was the requirement that the Department of Transportation conduct a study of best practices. And they were going to do a one-size-fits-all, one-call project because of a few accidents that had happened or incidents that had happened beforehand with gas lines exploding, people losing life, limb, and property damage. And so we had an opportunity, the industries involved in damage prevention, the construction industry, the facility owner operators, the one call centers, which were scattered with no rhyme or reason at the time, telecommunication, energy, all the industries, to come together and develop the best practices. And over about 18 months, we developed 162 best practices with different teams. I was part of the steering team at that time. And it was under the Office of Pipeline Safety, which is now PHMSA, the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration. I don't want to throw too many acronyms.
No, we're familiar with them.
We're good.
We live in the OQ
And
world.
so we went and put together these best practices. And after it happened, and the government said, okay, that's fine. And we were up against a federal mandate on what one call should be, one call fit all. And so we took control of our industry. Also, at the same time, excavation damage to pipeline facilities was on the National Transportation and Safety Board's top 10 list. And so that was pretty serious business, and part of the reason that they instructed the Department of Transportation to do the study. Within 2-3 years after the study, they had taken the excavation damage off that list, and because we got our stuff together, the ones that were part of the study, and then formed the Common Ground Alliance after that. And what we said was, we have these 160 best practices. We need to build on them and work together moving forward. One of the most important things we did was making it was a consensus process to have a best practice. And that means that everybody had to agree to a best practice. What this did was force each individual group to really put themselves in the shoes of another group, and nobody could pass anything. So we have over 160 best practices now. And when you look at that book, that's what gives us our integrity. The construction industry, the telecom industry, the gas industry, locating industry, municipals, everybody agreed to each best practice. And that's where the Common Ground Alliance arrives its legitimacy and its integrity from.
Amazing.
So after that, we formed the Common Ground Alliance, and we formed up the committees, each one, the best practices, the data collection, and those. And we have worked for 22 years. And what we have done is, it's very unique in that usually government goes and has regulations, and you have lobbyists and everybody go against them or put in it. They actually look to the Common Ground Alliance. What is the best practice on this? OSHA has recognized the best practices. The Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration recognized best practices. We have the 9 elements of an effective program, which each state does. I was part of that, putting that together as well. So we have been the master of our destiny, all industries. But what we have accomplished is something that we can't put our hand on or measure. How many lives and property damage and everything have we saved at the Common Ground Alliance by doing what we do? So it was a great public government-public partnership, in that we took control of our industries and decided what was best before somebody else had to. And we all worked together. And the consensus process, I can't say how much that means to it, that everybody has to agree. And sometimes it takes 3 to 4 to 5 years to get a best practice through. We've been accused of taking too long. That group doesn't want to do it, but at the end of the day, there was reason for that to put us together. So that's
Okay, I'm gonna quiz you
feel-
later.
well, I
I'm gonna
mean,
quiz you later on.
So this is my first CGA, Alan. Like, so for me, that you just gave me everything I need of
Yeah.
what I mean. I've sat in sessions. I love the knowledge share and transfer that's happening. I'm seeing everywhere. I love seeing the tech, but I don't have the background. So that's amazing
Yeah.
to hear. One of the things right now, 50 and 5, how being somebody who just got here, right? That I understand it. I work in, I mean, we deliver to the natural gas industry, so we understand how important it is. But that's a stat, you know, I said a big, hairy, audacious goal. How are we going to get there?
Well, it's
I
going to
know
be
that's
hard to
big,
get there,
but-
and that's a lofty goal, which
Yeah.
you want to put into place. But it's going to take the utility facility owner operators, the gas companies, the telecoms, everyone. It's going to take the contractors and the locators put together, and everybody's got to accept their responsibilities in the process. The excavator has to call before they dig. They have to describe the job site accurately. The one call center has to take that notice. They have to pass it on to the utility owner operators, and the utility owner operators have to respond appropriately with their locators and environment. Any part of that, and then the contractors need to verify the location of the facility. Any part of that process breaks down, they're all equally responsible. It can't be a locator's fault. It can't be the facility owner's fault. It can't be it's somewhere along that process. So it's a process everybody has to be involved in and take part in, especially when it comes to the gas industry where y'all are, when you end up with St. Cloud, Minnesota, and you have other evidence of circumstances where things went wrong. And we have addressed those in the Common Ground Alliance. St. Cloud, for instance, was one of the problems there was there was an accident where a contractor, and forgive me if I don't remember every detail, this has been some years, was putting in a guy wire simply for a telephone pole and hit a gas line. They called the gas company. The gas company came out there and they were looking for leaks along the way, went to the basement and buildings around there. The 911 was called and they showed up and the gas company told them to stand back. We got this. And while that was going on, there was an explosion that killed, I believe, 7 people and destroyed a block of St. Cloud, Minnesota. The NTSB came back to the Common Ground Alliance and said, we want you to change the best practice that says call the affected facility when you have a gas leak and put in there that call 911 first, then call the gas company. It took 3 years to get that best practice through because we looked at every angle, everything, and finally passed the best practice that said call 911 first. The NTSB even came to the Common Ground Alliance and said, why are y'all taking so long? But once we did it, they understood. We had it covered. We knew every aspect. And so now in just about every law and in best practices, it says call 911, have them come out, and then the gas company come out second.
Love it. Well, Alan, you're
So-
an amazing
Yes.
person to get to know.
We
Thank
had-
you for all the
we
work
had
that
no
you've done.
idea when you
yet
were
to do.
rolling up here the wealth of information we were going to learn. I learned too, and I used to be a CenterPoint Energy out of Minnesota.
Oh, really?
And so
Did you know Michael McGrath?
yes,
You used to be with up there. He was a good friend of mine and was the second co-chair of the best practices
oh,
committee.
you got to be kidding me.
No.
We
He
need
was
to
a good
hook this
friend of
guy
mine.
to Steve Allen. because,
Yeah,
Old
we do.
veteran guys.
Yeah,
good.
I'd love to do this, and I
Let's
do
do
the
it.
history of the Common Ground Alliance. It was every best practices we used to go. I was on the steering team of the Common Ground Study, the original board of directors.
Love it.
I've been the editor of the Common Ground best practices for 20 years now, me and Bill Boswell. And I know where all the bodies are buried.
Woo!
So if
You
y'all
heard
ever
it here,
want to get
but
a
you
history of
didn't
that,
hear it
let
here.
me know.
Hey, we're gonna have to have you on a full episode
Yeah,
because
we
there's
are.
no way we can talk
Yeah.
as much as we need to talk.
We
in
need to
this
keep
amount of
this
time.
information going and get it out.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
We're good.
so
Hey, thank
nice
you.
to meet y'all.
All right. Hey,
Great
we'll
to
be
meet
back.
you.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back. Well, you know what though? This is nonstop. We are going back to back to back.
We are.
People are lined up. They keep going.
How many
and-
times you been on the show?
Oh,
700?
me or him?
Do
I
we
would
count the
hope-
one
I-
at EWNCon?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you don't remember, did it count?
between the two of us, maybe there's one episode out of it, you know.
Yeah.
We won't bring that up.
No.
But we did. Too late.
Yeah. So 3 on purpose. One
3 and a
bonus.
half.
Yeah.
3 and a quarter.
And one bonus.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, what are we doing?
We're going.
We're back.
We're going. We're back.
Oh. Hi, Jim. Hi, James.
MG, please.
Why don't you just take over?
Yeah.
You intro us for a change.
Yeah. Some of you might not know. My name's MG. I'm guest host of Coffee with Jim and James today.
I like to call him
And
JG. No one gets it though.
Yeah. Well, I get it. That way we're the 3 J's. But in case you don't know, we got Jim, longtime guy, and then we also have James, who's been a
Also a
guy just a
longtime
little bit less time.
Okie811. What are we here for?
It's
you
great
know
to be
what's
here.
up.
Thank you for
We're
having
in
us
your
today,
world
MG.
now.
Yeah.
Sometimes you come play in our world, but today we're playing
I
in
go
your
and
world.
I go to your world, and I'm listening about OQs and all that stuff that I don't do at all.
You gotta wear a sweater vest to those.
Yeah, and I have to
That's
ask what all
beautiful.
this stuff means, and y'all teach me the ways. But y'all are in my world now. We're at Common Ground Alliance.
So tell
The
me, how
birth-
many CGAs have you been to?
This is my third
Okay.
CGA.
I figured more. Sorry.
Yeah, I've only been in my role with Okie811 for 4 years. So, and COVID
Solid.
knocked out one of those trips. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Good event?
Yes. Yeah, CGA is a great organization. I mean, 811 wouldn't exist without CGA. That's the birthplace of the phone number. So, great opportunity to learn and network and meet a lot of different vendors within the damage prevention industry.
Have you learned something new today?
Yes, actually.
Oh,
I learned
sure.
I learned a
Do
couple
tell.
different things. So a session I just came out of was a case study, if you will, about Colorado Springs and how they made a
Client?
ordinance within their town about damage prevention, and it's enforceable and fines and all that stuff to reduce damage in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
It was really interesting. I don't know if it's something that I can slap in Oklahoma anywhere, but it's a great case study, and that's great for them for what that was. And then earlier today, there's a session over regional partnerships that I was really impressed with. Just bringing
Steve Allen
those.
was talking about that.
Yeah, I learned a lot in that one. It's just new ways to engage partnerships, not only having those big events, but the small meetings, the Zoom meetings, and get that message out there, because we kind of lost a lot of our audience during COVID. And so trying to bring them back into the fold and revamping the message again. So that was really interesting.
So you would say that the knowledge sharing here are a lot of benefits and values of that. Would that be a fair statement for the folks that aren't attending or should attend next year?
Yeah, absolutely. On paper, you're going to see the breakout sessions with different topics, and CGA does a really good job of trying to give you some variety and things to take home with you. But ultimately, this conference or any other conference I go to, it's what happens outside of those sessions.
When you
It's
get
the
to any
networking.
questions,
Yeah, and when I'm talking to my counterparts in California or South Carolina or North Carolina or Tennessee, and we see how they're presenting the same message,
Yeah.
I take these nuggets, and we've had this conversation that one time I knew nothing, and then I just stole the best of all these different places. Now people think I'm really good at what I do. I'm not really that good. I'm just really good at stealing really good ideas.
Well, but you know what though? I would say that is what the industry is designed for, is to do that knowledge sharing, because people want to, alliance, common ground alliance. It's everybody getting together and sharing and using that data and passing it on. So
it's kind of the joke, but not the joke. In our segment, when we what I kind of use as the statement is you'll get in a session in natural gas, and my friend has a pipeline.
Oh, yeah.
One of those,
Yeah.
and you get into some real dialogue, and it's like, how are you doing? Well, my friend, and I mean everybody is sharing, and it's a place. It's not about checking boxes. Man.
Yeah.
We're building better systems. We're building, using better tech and better people, and we're understanding all that, and making a difference.
Yeah, and I love the idea that, so there's not a competition. I mean, y'all are in Texas, right? Texas 811 and Oklahoma, or Okie811. We do the same thing. We have the same message. We want to keep our people safe, but every once in a while I'm like, Texas stole the idea from me, so we did that better, or vice versa. And it's great because the liaisons that are in Texas and we can have conversations. And like I said earlier, we just steal the best of the best, and we both just come that much better at what we do.
Good artists borrow, great artists steal.
you want to ask the question?
No, please, you did so well last time.
50 and 5. That's a topic here. We're talking about reducing damage incidents by 50% in 5 years. Thoughts? What would you share as one
How are we
tip
going
for-
to do that?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
too big, hairy, audacious?
No, but first of all, initial answer is yes, it is big and
Yes,
hairy.
I love
and
it
audacious,
though. That's what I wanted. to yes.
but I'm so quick to say no because I want to sound like I can do anything. Here's what the climate of the industry is. We say 50% less damages. Cool, but we have to define what that is. Are we doing it saying, hey, we have a hard number. We had 100,000 damages or whatever number we have and go, well, we need 50,000 in 5 years. No, because our infrastructure is rolling out so much money into fiber and all these installs. We're going to have more excavation than ever before. The last 5 years in Oklahoma alone, we've had an increase of tickets. If you have an increase of tickets, that means you're going to have more opportunities to have damage. So we need to say, are we still doing it per 1,000 tickets? Or how are we justifying it?
Yeah. What's the measures?
So once we focus on that and get that laser eye focus on that, then we go and try to solve the problems. And the problems are, it starts with putting in a locate request. So my title is education outreach. When someone doesn't put in that locate request, I take the fall because in a way, I'm like, how did I not reach that person? What are we doing that that person didn't feel like they needed to call or they didn't know about us? And so that's a huge percentage that would knock out a lot. And then it comes to excavation safety practices, tolerance zone, respecting the marks, things of that nature, and getting that education in front. And in Oklahoma, I'm really proud of the program that we're doing. We are expanding our curriculum outside of Okie811. Same information, I'm just giving other organizations an opportunity to teach it. And organizations like Oklahoma Associated Electric Co-ops, OMAG, others like that. In less than 30 days, electric co-ops, the Associated Electric Co-ops, big shout out to them, I hope they watch this, have certified 260 individuals. Last year, me just by myself running around trying to do the same thing, less than 600.
Wow.
So they're a third of the way, more than a third of the way there in 1 month, and they have plenty more to talk to.
Kudos.
So it's awesome. It's going to be a good opportunity for us to see that needle moved. If I hear that phrase one more time this conference, the needle is moving.
Man. I said the needle earlier. I told you, man.
You said that. I should use that in my tagline.
Yeah,
Let's move that needle.
MG would have downgraded you for that.
Yeah, I would have.
Everybody
Allegedly.
wants to move the needle.
I know. And
There's a lot of needles.
And I
You
never
know what?
understood
We
that
want
phrase.
to. We want to move the needle, right? In the speedometer, right?
Go faster?
Yeah. Or we want to, whatever the pressure, anything, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh.
I like it.
I didn't make it up. I'm just saying we're moving a lot of needles. Our show, we want to move the needle in terms of putting people in this industry.
Yes,
we know
definitely.
we're losing that, right? So we want to move it in a good way.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Good point. And we're doing that.
Let me just say thank you for the work you do in Oklahoma. I see
Absolutely.
it firsthand because I'm there.
Yeah.
I do a lot of work there, but I see you there. I see you doing the work. I know you're always out there. Thank you. Thank you from all of us, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the Oklahoma people. We got to, like you said, we got to cross all the borders, do all the things. Thank you so much.
Oh, man.
As a neighboring Texan, and I think I'm Oklahoma by proxy.
Yeah, you're there often enough. And you've had some really good food in Oklahoma now, so I think you're figuring this
Done a
out.
little bit of everything.
Yeah.
All right, MG, thank you, brother.
No problem.
brother. Appreciate you.
Always a guest
I appreciate
in
you.
our house. We'll be back.
See you, friends.
James, we are icon after icon.
Icon heavy.
I can't even.
Well,
turn
here's the
around.
funny thing is that we're newer in this space. We do a lot of natural gas,
natural
but
gas.
not
Okay.
just
All right.
like
I got you.
this is my first CGA. He's been here multiple times, and so we don't know if somebody's the most important person that ever sat down with us. So we have to rely on
And we're
everybody.
the most humble people too,
We
right?
are.
No one will take credit for anything.
one.
They're going to
Not
pass
a
it on to
soul.
somebody else for sure.
That's exactly right.
And we are.
And everybody's full of it too. And
They
you
are
can't
full
trust
of it. We're
the
all
soul.
full of crap for sure. That's true.
Especially Alan.
What? Mr. Gray, talk about an icon.
I'll tell you what.
I could spend my whole 3 minutes talking about Alan Gray, but
I'm going to tell you right now, Alan Gray is unbelievable. That story
we
was.
had no idea. We had
it
no
was
idea.
fantastic.
Louis, do us a favor.
Yes, sir.
Let everybody know who you are and who you're with.
Okay, my name's Louis Panzer. I'm executive director of North Carolina 811. Been there for 12 years now at this point.
Okay.
I'm also the co-chair of the data committee currently for the CGA.
Okay.
Oh, that's a very important job right now, is from what
Part
I
of that
hear.
50 and 5.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about 50 and
Okay.
5. Sarah brought it up as a goal. It's a lofty goal. We all understand that. What are your thoughts about reducing damage incidents by 50% in the next 5 years?
I think it's very important to have a large goal for yourself. I think this industry on the whole is happy with small victories overall. So they'll take the 5% or the 6% or whatever and say, hey, we've done a good job. My boss is happy. We're doing it. We're whittling it down. Woo-hoo. The challenge is not just 50 and 5. The challenge is that we're in the face of a whole lot of excavation coming down the pike, way more than we've experienced with the infrastructure bill and that. So it's not just reducing damages. Somehow we have to keep pace with the fact that we're going to be seeing extraordinary amounts of increases in the amount of tickets that are created by these one-call centers, and how the industry responds to that. In my opinion, the way we get there is going to be technology, better maps, sharing of maps, the improvements of the ability to communicate. It doesn't stop with 811. 811 is a great start. It's the great way to get the ball rolling, but excavators, locators, folks have to communicate through this process, get to know each other, and know who the people are on the ground who you're working with every day.
100%. I have nothing to add.
I don't either. I mean,
Here we are again.
It's
The
like put a
Just
stamp
so
on
good.
that.
100%. Yeah, trademark it. It's
Thank
good.
you
pleasure.
so much.
Thank you,
so
gentlemen.
much.
Look
was
forward
awesome.
to getting to know you. Hey, we'll be back.
We'll be back. I have not been away from the stool, James, since we started this. And it hasn't been minutes. I can't even step up without people wanting to come by and be on the show and talk about safety, damage prevention.
And
Please,
training.
please
Wow.
introduce yourself to the
Hi.
audience, please.
I'm Deb Shelley, and I'm from Global Training Center, and one of your Canuck friends, your Canadian friends here at the damage prevention. Yeah,
well,
Canadian
welcome.
partner.
yeah.
We're in Canada.
Calgary, just
Oh,
outside
I
of
love
it,
Calgary.
Strathmore.
I've been there many times. The library downtown is phenomenal.
Do you like that? Isn't
Oh.
that cool? It's all about that self-discovery and being learner-centric. So they actually designed it with the learner at heart. It's kind of like what we do.
I love it. Tell us more about
Yeah,
that.
tell us what you do.
Tell them about
Well,
it.
Yeah.
you know what? I'm very lucky. I lead a passionate team that's all about making sure people get home safe at night.
Oh,
Yeah,
man. That's our
and
favorite.
you know what? You couldn't ask for a better calling, and you couldn't ask for a better day at work than to know that somebody's going home safe to their family. And that's what this conference is all about. It's all about damage prevention.
The passion in her voice is resonating.
So we're a training company. And that's at our core as well. And so when I first started, it's funny you said that. I was the director of marketing, and one of the first ads, I needed to see myself. You know, I needed to see the impact I was making. You know, we're a technology company, so at the end of the day, you know, I'm thinking we're making software, we're making tech, right? But I had to see it. You know, I had to see it firsthand. And one of the first ads I made was a dad like throwing up his kid on the couch. And it was exactly that message was, we're bringing people home safe every night. So they can do that very thing.
It's a very
And it landed for me, and I knew what I was doing from that point forward.
Yeah, it's
Love
so
it.
true. It's so true. For me, it was, I actually experienced a fatality on one of my crews. And I came back, I was working out of Brownsville, Texas, came back to Canada with the total mandate to make a difference. So,
I've been
yeah.
in Brownsville. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm from
Okay.
Texas. Yep.
Yeah, well, he's
For
in
sure.
I'm in Florida right now. Let me ask you a quick question. CGA, we're talking about 50% reduction in damage incidents in 5 years. Thoughts on that? What do you think we can
How
do
we
to
gonna get there?
achieve that?
Do you know what? I first of all think that it's going to take stakeholder commitment all the way across the board. I mean, you saw it today probably at the luncheon where we talked to the excavators, locators.
Yes.
We have the tendency to be siloed in that aspect. And that's where maybe a little bit of Canada, we've done it well. We've brought everybody together and really written some standards and created some best practices that everybody's bought into and everybody's utilizing. And we have regulators that are behind us. So it really helps when you come at it almost symbiotic versus in these independent little pieces.
I love it. I
That's
love
great.
that. Well, you can't get a better answer than this.
No.
You can't meet a more passionate person.
Hey,
Fantastic.
thanks guys.
Thank
And
you
like I
so
said,
much.
thank you guys for what you're doing. This is huge,
Absolutely.
right?
No,
I
thanks
feel
for
like we
joining
gained
us.
a listener today.
Wait, number 10.
Can we confirm that?
Number 10.
Can we get that recorded?
Yes.
Are you a new subscriber?
No, I have not even subscribed until, and I will
You're
with the
about
QR.
to.
That's why I was taking the picture of the QR code.
Do it. Making one difference. Thank you so much. Hey, we'll
You
be right
guys
back.
have a great day.
Jimmy.
We are back. We are ready to go. You're good?
Yep.
Yep, you're good. Please introduce
Very
yourself.
compliant.
He is by the rule. I can already
Rusty,
tell
man.
he's
Hey,
by the rule.
he told me to do it. So I'm Rusty Poore. I'm Senior Damage Prevention Coordinator for CenterPoint Energy in Indiana.
Oh, my old stomping grounds.
You must know
CenterPoint
Steve
Energy.
Allen.
Steve Allen,
I do
Jim
know-
Is
Francis.
that a good thing?
No Jim, I know Steve.
Did
Yes.
you know Jim Francis painted a picture of
Of us. Did you know that?
Really?
it? Did you
I did not know that.
After he came on the show, he painted us a picture and sent it to us over Christmas holidays.
That's nice of him.
Like,
Very town shirt was
I'm
good
not
too.
kidding. I cried
I
when
did
I
too.
got it. Like, because I knew he had thought about us. I know that's weird, but
Yeah, well,
that's very thoughtful.
I didn't know Jim real well. He was a senior leader, but he was always, whenever I ran into him at safety events and stuff like that, he was always
He is the
a
salt
very,
of the earth.
very
Friend,
good guy.
Friend of the
Yeah,
show.
so-
Friend of the show.
Richard Leger. Oh no, Richard is now on the electric side.
Yes,
so,
he
yeah.
is. Yep, and I've had the opportunity to meet Richard, another great guy. So,
yeah, he is. Listen, we are talking here about 50 and 5, reducing 50% of the damage incidents in 5 years.
Yeah.
What do you recommend? What's your thoughts as to how we're going to achieve that? Any thoughts?
Well, it's a very ambitious goal, but
Achievable?
I think it's achievable.
Okay.
But, see, I guess when they were talking about it, they had to set a bar because
Okay.
everything they were talking about damages are staying flat, which is good, and at least they're not going through the roof. But you got to set a bar to get better. So I think all stakeholders have to take ownership of what they do. Like we're a natural gas operator, we got to make sure that we oversee our contract locators, we keep our maps up to date, we do what everybody does make sure that what they can control, they can do that. So just making sure that everybody's accountable.
I like it. Man, y'all are doing great things in Indiana. Believe me, Steve and I talk probably once a week, every 10 days. And when you talk to Steve Allen, it's not for 5 minutes.
No.
So I get to hear.
He's pretty passionate
all
about
he
damage
is.
prevention
We love Steve.
and driving change for the better. So, and we actually have a stakeholder group in Indiana, and it's a group of leaders, decision makers that get together from all the stakeholders. Steve moderates it. It was going really heavy before COVID, and then when COVID hit, it kind of stopped. But here in the last few months, we've got together a couple times and trying to get together to make some law changes. We've made some changes with rulemaking, but trying to get some legislation passed to make everything better for damage
all
prevention.
about it. I'm telling you, Steve, he tells me all about it. He's excited. I'm excited for Steve and for y'all to be able to get to work together again, do everything that wanted to do pre-pandemic, and that it's kicked back off. I can tell you he's excited. And
He is.
And that's a good thing for our industry.
He's right over there.
We appreciate all the work you guys do. Seriously.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Guys
Thanks
are
for having me
awesome.
on.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you so much.
Always good to see you guys.
Absolutely. Please send our best to everybody that we know in Indiana.
Sure
Such
will.
a good friend.
Yeah.
Keep doing the good work. We'll be
Thank
back.
you.
Hey, Jimmy, we're back.
We
And
are.
We are about to be outdone because its voice is like.
Oh, just Craig, just say
Every
something.
show,
Yeah.
we get one person that is built for this that could out podcast us, no problem. And I think we found them.
Yeah, I mean, when you guys invited me on, it was.
He's such a liar.
So everybody, I've heard it a number of times, like, hey, you've got a great radio voice. But I always take that to mean, like, are you making that joke that I've got a face for radio and no one should be looking at me? So I never know if it's actually a compliment or
So
not.
I've not had to turn anybody down yet until
Did you
this
just
moment.
turn Craig
I just
down?
turned Craig down. He's so good. He's like, man, it's going to be great when you're yelling at people.
Well, I'm used to projecting to a room full of contractors. So.
Well, please introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Tell them what you do.
We just,
where
do
you're
me
with.
a favor.
Yeah.
Just get it quick like that because
Sure.
post-production will hate me if
Yeah.
you don't.
So
Cool.
my name
You're good.
is Craig Ingram. I am the Public Awareness Manager for Tennessee's 811 system. Our office is based in Nashville to be kind of central for the state, but I am currently a Memphis, Tennessee resident on the far western end of the state. So go Grizzlies.
Oh, well, go Grizzlies. And we are old friends. He came walking up and I said, when do we last see each other? It was March 2020 I was at your conference in Franklin at the Embassy Suites.
That's right.
And James called me and goes, hey, there's something like this COVID thing going on. You got to get out of there. I'm like, that ain't no big deal. I've done it before. Then he called me like 4 hours later. He goes, airports are getting shut down. And I literally.
I told that story, like that's the intro to my speaking op several times, like speaking lately.
Yeah.
And I tell that story, so I tell that same story, and it's funny. It's that event, right?
It is so crazy because, as I was telling you guys, if we had had that conference 1 week later, we would have had to cancel it, shut the whole thing down.
Such a tricky time.
You know, and here we are now able to be back together and all that kind of stuff. But just think about the fact that in that moment we were learning about this pandemic and had no understanding of it. It's crazy to reflect
Zero.
on that.
I thought it would be like 3 weeks in and out.
Hey,
done.
but this podcast came out of it.
It did. That's how. That's how.
If we're going to be,
that's how.
I hate that it all happened, all the things that went down, and but we're thankful to be here today.
Yeah,
we are.
CGA, my friend. How many times have you been here?
Man, so I was thinking about how many conferences I've been to, and I should be getting close to the 10 mark. So
with on CGA conferences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, including the conferences before the different organization now, but you know, I've been with Tennessee 811 since 2006.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, spent the
started
first.
when you were 2.
I was pretty young, and I was fresh out of high school. But I was on the call center side for a few years, and then moved to the external side. And man, I just love it. But I never would have, if you asked me, because I was 18 when I started.
Wow.
Okay.
If you asked me when I was 18 if I would still be here all these years later, the answer would have been no. So I'm just glad to be here.
Well, you must
We
have
are
a
blessed.
passion and a purpose for it.
We are
Yeah,
blessed.
absolutely. We at CGA, as you heard, the goal 50 and 5, 50% reduction in damage incidents within the next 5 years or within 5 years. Thoughts on that? Achievable? And if so, how are we going to do that?
It's completely achievable if we just take these little kind of bite-sized chunks away. You know, look at these recommendations that are being put out by CGA, you know, balance it against the root cause information and everything that not only do we see in the DIRT report, but that we see reflected in local, you know, enforcement and what the root cause of a violation is in Tennessee when someone violates the dig law. But the goal is just to identify the little things that we can change, that we do have control over, eat away at those. And, you know, earlier in one of the sessions, we were having this conversation. For years, we've spent time on identifying what the challenges are. And now it's time to actually make sure that we're taking steps to fight those. So don't just talk about the pie in the sky, big things that are years down the road, but talk about what are the little steps that we can take right now.
Yep. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right?
That's right.
You got to get started. Hey, we appreciate you, brother.
Yeah,
All the
man.
work you do in Tennessee.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Great
much.
seeing you again.
And
Absolutely.
hey, we'll be right back.
We'll see you.
Jimmy, we are back again, brand new friends. I'm just kidding. It's for me.
Well, Steve Allen was in the house. All of a sudden, Chuck came walking by. We recognized it. I said, Chuck, how long has it been? He goes, last conference. I'm like, touche. That is
Steve
true.
is a closer. He brings us so many guests.
Yeah, that's why these conferences are so great. You know, damage prevention is all about communication and, you know, just building these relationships with other partners. That's how we, you know, keep the world safe, really.
That's right.
That's good.
Chuck, for those that don't know, you do us a favor. Let the world know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name's Chuck Muller. I'm the Director of Safety for MetroNet. We're a fiber to the home company. I've done work for MetroNet for 4 years. Prior to that, I started working at Indiana 811 at the call center. I worked there for close to 25 years. And Indiana is probably one of the top states in the country as far as damage prevention awareness. And, you know, we started out, Holy Moly was our mascot. We had the best logo is, you know, it's chomp, 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 dig, dig, dig. Holy moly, I did it again.
Love it.
And we had a great radio ad that we used. And, you know, Indiana is just a part of my life, part of my home. And damage prevention actually is my life.
That's wonderful.
This is why we're here. Man.
This is it.
Steve Allen told me that you're the reason he is the way he is. And
Yeah.
I'll take that any way you want to take it.
Yeah.
But
Well, that could be.
he said everything of damage prevention stems from you, sir. And that's quite the compliment for
Yeah,
somebody like
I
Steve.
had a lot of mentors over my life, and Steve came in. He was when he was with the IURC, and you know he came in later. He worked for the gas company for many years.
Yep.
And you know I lived and breathed Indiana gas, and and Vectren and now CenterPoint. They've been my mentors ever since I got started in the damage prevention business. And the state of Indiana, you know, we have one of the best programs as far as the UPAC committee, and where all that money goes towards fines. And one of the reasons that we are so good in Indiana is because all that fine money goes to 811 awareness and education.
That's great. Awesome. That's fantastic. Let me ask you a quick question. We talked here at the CGA about 50 and 5, reducing damage incidents by 50% in 5 years. What you're a mentor to so many. What would you recommend? How can people achieve that? What would be your recommendation?
You got to get that back to the basics. You got to. It's all about the communications. At MetroNet, what we did is we built a damage prevention program that is based around communications. We communicate with our partners, the communities we're in, the homeowners. When we go out and build, we say, you know, this is what to expect. This is what we're going to be doing. And we work with our contract locating partners across the country to make sure that they keep 3 days of paint out in front of each one of our crews. And, you know, if a crew gets 1,000 foot today, we're calling in another 1,000 foot of locates for them. So to maintain that three days of paint out in front of them. But you have to work together as partners. And that's how we're going to get to 50 and 5, is to have everybody in the country work together and get the job done safely.
Wonderful.
Listen, appreciate all the work you do.
Thank you.
From all
Thank
of
you
us
guys.
here,
From everybody.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job. Now, coffee
teamwork.
with Jim and James, man. Here we go.
Hey, we'll be back.
I can add that to my resume.